Ago, my daughter is here right now. She's almost 19. I have 3 kids, 31, 20, and 19. And years ago when she was 1 year old, and my son, my second, was 2 years old, we went to Sawgrass Mills Mall. Listen, 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 church. I'm talking about the faithfulness of God. You're going to need to know that. Because life is going to life if you haven't experienced it already. And what you're going to need when life starts lifing, when things happen that you didn't plan for. You didn't foresee it, but it happens. It doesn't give you a pre-notice that this is going to happen on this day and then this is going to happen on, no, it just happens. And what you're going to need to know in those days when it does happen is that no matter what, my God is faithful. Have that in your lexicon. Wrap that on the tablets of your heart. When the enemy breathes down your neck about the hospital report, about the job, about the promotion, about the teenager that's giving you a hard time, the marriage that's falling apart, write that on your tablet of your heart. My God is faithful. So we're at Sawgrass, my husband, my 2 kids, and my sister-in-law. We went to Sawgrass, and there was a store back then called Wanna-Do City. Y'all remember Wanna-Do City? All right. So Wanna-Do City, after you do the activities, they have a store right before you go out where you could buy stuff. Well, that store doesn't have any doors. It's just an open place. So I looked up at my husband and I said, "Oh, you have Isaiah, that's my son." He said, "I don't have Isaiah." I said, "Yeah, you do, stop playing." He said, "No, I have Natasha in my hand. I don't have Isaiah." And I saw he was serious. And I looked around that store and there was no Isaiah in sight. And I realized that this is a Saturday and there are thousands of people at Sawgrass Mills Mall. And I look and all I could see a crowd of people and no son at 2 years old. And I'm going to tell you, church, it was like fire. Heat took over him. Have you ever had such a fear? That heat took over my body. I began to tremble on the inside. And I walked out into that mall and the tears, I was stunned. Because you hear the news and you see what happened with these kids and I was stunned. And my husband said, "I'm going to go find the police. But I know a God that is faithful." In church, I got on my knees in the middle of that mall. And all these people were walking around me, and I got on my knees in that mall. And I put my head to the floor. And I cried out to my God that I know is faithful. And I said, "Lord, rip the roof off this mall and show me to my son. Lead me to my son, God. You see where he is. Guide me to my son, Lord." I called on the God of Abraham, of Isaac, and of Jacob. I said, "You're a deliverer. You're an all-seeing God. You're all-knowing God. There is nothing that you cannot do." And they went to grab me, and my sister-in-law said, "Don't touch her. I created an altar." Y'all hear me? At Sawgrass Mills Mall. 200 and something thousand square feet of retail space, my son. I said, "God, you gotta help me, because I don't know what to do." I got up off my knees. I dried my tears and I started walking. I said, "Lead me to my son." And I saw a lady at the vendor. She was a vendor. She said, "Are you looking for a little boy?" I said, "I am." She said, "He went that way." I started walking that way. And before I know it, there's a man with my son in his hand walking towards me, church. And before I took Isaiah from his hand, I said, wait a minute. I got back down on my knees, and I thank my God who is faithful, who is a deliverer and a redeemer and a strong tower. And he wants you to know, history makers, he is faithful to you. No matter what you're facing, no matter what you're going through, no matter what you're dealing with, the Lord sent me on this day to tell you he will never leave you. He will never forsake you. Whatever you're going through, he's